Holy moly. Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome on in to tonight's Halos in the Infield Anaheim Ducks postgame podcast with yours truly, Dominic Lorenz. It's been a little bit since I've been on a postgame show after the Olympic break took us 3 weeks apart. Todd covered the game in the big win on Wednesday against the Edmonton Oilers. And now tonight, second verse, same as the first, the Ducks, the cardiac Quackers, once again, play big at Honda Center, and they take down Team USA goaltender in Hellebuck in overtime. Ducks beat the Winnipeg Jets by the final of 5-4. Once again, happy Friday, everybody. The Ducks make it not one, but 2 in a row post-Olympic break, and in massive come-from-behind fashion by more than 2-goal deficit in each of the last 2 games. The Ducks are creating something special in Anaheim. And this season, which has roughly about 24 games left after tonight, the Ducks sitting second place in the Pacific Division, just a couple of points behind the Las Vegas Golden Knights. But, man, this is going to be a fun post-game show to talk about with you, the fans. We're going to break down the game, break down the scoring, get into what I liked, what I loved, and things that still need a little bit of tightening up the screws a little bit for the Ducks. But it is going to be a positive, celebratory show tonight as the Ducks, as mentioned already, a 5-4 come-from-behind overtime victory against the Winnipeg Jets to go back-to-back in the win column post-Olympic break. And with the month of February ending tomorrow and the Ducks don't have a game till Sunday, March the 1st, the Ducks, even though it was a limited schedule, go a perfect 4-0 in the month of February. We got so many kind of in-between stats to talk about in this game as well. But this game had so much in it. The 9th. Let's throw out one number to begin things here tonight. Tonight's overtime win. The 9th time the Ducks have won it in overtime in the 3-on-3 session this season. The Ducks are virtually unbeatable in the OT session. They've only lost once in OT, and that was within the first couple of weeks of the season, a 2-1 OT loss in Chicago. So besides that, the Ducks have been absolutely on fire in overtime. To boot, 7 straight wins at Honda Center dating back when they snapped the 9-game losing streak by beating the Dallas Stars 3-1 all the way back in January. So the streak continues at Honda Center. Also in the postgame show, they talked about it tonight, 11 straight sellouts at Honda Center. So massive props to everybody that is making their way to Honda Center this year to watch this team in person do great things. This has been a remarkable season, well above the curve of where any of us thought this team could be at this point this season. And let's not forget, we'll talk about it deeper in the postgame show. Next Friday, less than a week away, trade deadline is coming up. What do the Ducks do? Are they going to roll with what they have that has been absolutely on all cylinders over the last couple of weeks, disregarding the Olympic break? Ever since they snapped that losing streak of 9 games that carried over from December to January, they have looked like a completely different team. And some of those familiar faces that hadn't been in the lineup for a while, a.k.a. Leo Carlsson being one of the big ones, making a difference once again and proves how strong this Ducks team is moving forward. But so many more other stats to get to. The Ducks win 5-4 in overtime tonight. Glad to have you along with us on a Friday night on the Halos in the Infield Anaheim Ducks post-game podcast with yours truly, Dominic Lorenz. It's my first post-game show since before the Olympic break, so glad to have you along. I'm excited for this one, and Ducks hockey is back. We're going to be getting back into the 3 or 4 games a week, that compacted schedule because of the Olympic break, and it's going to be a powerhouse, madhouse fight to the finish over the next 6 to 8 weeks in the month of March and the early ongoings of April before the playoffs. And right now, if it all ended right now, the Ducks would be in playoff contention hosting Edmonton in the first round. Second place plays third place in the division. That would be a fun matchup from top to bottom, I'd have to say. But still a lot of hockey to be played. First place is still well within our grasps. And we're only just about a game and a half to 2 games below the Las Vegas Golden Knights. But let's get it on. Let's crank through this amazing scoring trek tonight because the Ducks find a way to win. Let's celebrate for a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Anaheim Ducks win. And remember, Ducks fans, to check out the Ducks Postgame Show on the Halos in the Infield Network with Todd and Dom. Drive home safely, and we'll see you next game.
The Ducks getting the job done tonight, 5-4, and come from behind OT fashion in their 9th overtime win of the year. Their 7th consecutive win at home at Honda Center. You can't get any better than this right now. And if you're the Ducks, you don't like playing from behind. And they did it early again tonight as Winnipeg got on the board first. But that comeback mentality, and our producer to the stars, as we like to call him, Randy Yaz, who does all the graphics, all the background, not just for the Ducks portion of Halos in the Infield, but the Angels portion as well. He came up with the new phrase. It's the cardiac quackers. That's what the Ducks are lately, and boy, oh boy, they are firing on all cylinders. But let's get through the scoring break here. It all began in the first period, as mentioned. Winnipeg getting on the board first, 1:24 into this game on a little bit of a weird redirect off the skate of VL. And, Joe Stahl was ready to play play the shot perfectly on the near side of the post, but a little flick of the leg off the end of the skate, ricocheting around, hard to make that save, but of course the team would bounce him back. 1-0 Winnipeg after 1. I thought in the first period that the Ducks played a good period, not a great period. They did limit Winnipeg's scoring opportunities through the majority of that first half. And then Winnipeg went on a little bit of a run where they had 5 or 6 consecutive shots on goal. But I would say regardless, I love it the way they kind of came out after the big win against Edmonton on Wednesday. And thank you so much, Jesus. Thank you for the belated birthday. That's why I wasn't on the post-game show on Wednesday. It was my 31st birthday. I was out with family. So Todd was holding down the fort for me that night. So thank you guys for that. You didn't want to have a hangover against Edmonton or, after the Edmonton game. And, maybe, the Ducks have normally been falling behind early in games this year, and they find a way to work themselves out of it. So kind of, same tune in this game, but I still thought a pretty decent, not too bad first period overall to only be down 1-0. Winnipeg getting back on the scoring trend to start the second period on the power play as Velarde gets his 23rd of the year, 2-0 Winnipeg. And you're sitting there and you're saying, okay, the Ducks not getting too many chances, a little rough start to the second period. You don't want to go down that path this early as Winnipeg got on the board that second goal, 2:25 into the second period. Too many early goals. Edmonton scored in the first 13 seconds. Kreider really accentuated that point in the post-game interview and said, we can't keep playing from behind. Somehow we have a knack of getting out of it, but we know that's not going to be good with longevity purposes, getting to the latter stages of the season. And if you want to make the postseason, rallying down from 2 goals in a regular season game is doable. When you get to the postseason, you feel a lot of pressure on your shoulders. You never want it to get to that mark. And of course, as I say it, Randy Yaz checking on in. What's up, buddy? If you want to come on in and start chatting, feel free to do so. Great comeback tonight, as always. Yes, indeed. Randy, who has not really been a hockey fan, not in a negative way, but just never really gravitated towards it to this season. And I know from our internal chat, he is loving it. This sport is perfect for Randy. If you don't know Randy that well, of course, a.k.a. producer of the Stars, he is a passionate guy who loves sports, even though he loves the Angels, who treat us badly sometimes. He loves his New York Jets football team. They let him down. This year, the Ducks are not letting down Randy Yaz, and he's loving every minute of it. But the Ducks find a way to get on the board. Second period, And it really wasn't a situation where it was a distinctive way to get to the net. It was literally just throw it on net and see what sticks. And it's that guy again. I've said it, besides Jackson LaCombe, this has been the best Ducks defenseman all season long. Now, double-digit in goals. If anybody told me at the beginning of this season that Jacob Trouba would have 10 or more goals in a season, I would have maybe thought twice. But guess what? Here we are. Jacob Trouba gets the assist from Washy's second assist of the season. Just throw it on net, see what sticks, and Trouba gets the Ducks to cut the deficit in half 2-1 after 2. So I will take it no matter what. The Ducks get the job done. And you needed to get a goal to the back of the net late in the period just to feel essentially something going into the third period. And after Joel Quenneville, who has led this team masterfully this season in his first year as being the Ducks head coach, I think he's the perfect fit. Right now, the Ducks have the perfect combination of youth who is growing up before our eyes. I'll get to Beckett Seneca, who had an amazing game yet again tonight. Rookie of the year, no doubt about it. We'll get to that, soapbox moment in just a little bit. But the veteranship on this team. Congrats to Coach Q on win 1001 here tonight. And the Ducks found themselves in a 2-goal deficit yet again as Solomonson gets his first of the season, 3-1 Winnipeg. And for the third straight period, Winnipeg scores on the Ducks within the first 2.5 minutes of the period. That needs to be cleaned up by Anaheim. You cannot keep giving away goals right off the bat in a period. Can't happen. You don't want to lose that kind of momentum, especially getting the 2-1 deficit and the goal from Trouba after 2. You needed to find a way. But it sets up a magical story. Carlson, Minchikov, Baleen. Let's dive into it. Carlson finds loose change in front from Seneca and LaCombe. Hey, thank you for the gift. I'll flick that one in. Leo Carlson, 20th goal in the season. This guy was on a points craze early on in the season. Yes, he had the freak injury that got him out for about a month. He is back. He is healthy. And I know he was disappointed that he couldn't play for Team Sweden in the Olympics. Selfishly, I'm glad he didn't play in the Olympics. I don't want to say I'm glad he got hurt, but I'm glad he had time to rest and heal up and get back to 100%. I get it. Playing for your home country is such an important thing for a player. Go Team USA, USA, USA. You know what I mean. But for him to play for Sweden would have been massive for him. And I know in 4 more years, when the Winter Olympics go to France next in, 2030, Leo Carlson will play for Team Sweden. But to have a full, healthy Leo Carlson at this point of the season and towards the playoffs, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. But Leo Carlson gets the job done, finds the loose change for his 20th goal of the season, this one, on the power play. And then you get a guy in the first month of the season who looked bad, benched for 3 games. I've honed in on this point over and over and over again. Pavel Minchikov has become a force, and to me, the third best defenseman on the Ducks this season. LaCombe, Trouba, Minchikov. No questions. I don't want to hear a debate. You can fight me on it. Minchikov has come from like a phoenix rising from the ashes, and he has played so good. High intellectual IQ type plays. He's being physical when need to be. He's drawing back when the defense needs him most. He is doing all the small intangibles. Whatever the Ducks coaching is doing, keep it going. 7th of the year from Minchikov. 28th assist from Seneca. 10th assist from Hellison. And you got the boys pumping, tying the game up at 3 halfway through the third period. And then, when I say a one-man band, he's kind of been like that. He's not an enforcer. He's not a Leo Carlson. He's not a scorer. He's not like the ultimate assist Troy Terry kind of player. He is a scrappy, sneaky snake that you want on your team. Traded for him, didn't think much of it. Ryan Phelan has been unbelievable. 6 goal. He did it all by himself from a great outlet pass from Minchikov and Killorn. Killorn, who's been another top dog for the Ducks this season. Ryan Phelan has been lock solid. In a moment, if you look back in some of the Ducks' big wins this year, a lot of the overtime ones or late game heroics, Ryan Phelan has been right in the middle of the ruckus. Abso-freaking-lutely, it's huge. It's huge. Ryan Phelan has been absolutely rock solid. Loving every minute of Phelan, and I hope you guys have liked him too so far. He picks up his 6th goal of the year and gives us a 4-3 lead. Who would have thought we would have had the lead at that point? But then Winnipeg pulling Hellebuck, empty net opportunity, a ricochet off the back of the boards. Ducks can't quite clear it out. Wide open opportunity for Connor. He nets his 27th of the year, and we go to overtime. Pretty even keel through overtime. But let's get on the soapbox about Beckett Seneca, shall we? This kid. This freaking kid who just turned 20 last month. Okay? I joked all season long. The hair on his balls is still growing. Yet, he continues to not only play with the big boys, right? Develop his own individual game, not just offensively, defensively as well. He's taken no shit from other team players. If he gets whacked, he gets right back up and continues doing what he does best. This is a kid at the beginning of the year some people thought was going to play the majority of the year at freaking San Diego. That kid, barring craziness, like an injury rehab or something, will never put a San Diego Gulls uniform on. No disrespect to San Diego. We love him, our AHL affiliate. Beckett Seneca has earned his Ducks jersey. Start buying number 45 in the team store. This dude is legitimate. Him, Carlson, Terry, McTavish, Minchikov, Lacombe. That's your foundation? Holy crap. And I might be drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit at this point, but we are now at the 3/4 point of the season with less than 25 games remaining. And in 57 games, okay? 57 games. 19 goals. He's going to be a rookie with 20 goals scored this year. Unbelievable. I think he could get 25. Honestly, I'll shoot for the moon. I think Beckett Seneca could get 30 goals this year. Maybe it's a little far-fetched, but I've seen stranger things happen. 26 assists. I could see him getting to 35. I could go crazy and say I could see him getting 40. This dude has a legitimate shot of getting near, or I think well above 60 total points, if not 70 this season. 70 freaking points as a rookie. If that does not win you Rookie of the Year, I'm going to be pissed. I don't care if the number 1 pick is in the New York Islanders organization and playing extremely well. I don't care. The effect Beckett Seneca has had on this Anaheim Ducks team and where they've gone from essentially the bottom to near the top of the Pacific Division in just a couple of seasons. This guy has a huge part in that. Beckett Seneca creates a turnover, takes it down the ice, tees it up right in front of Hellebuck, and then just dumps it off to the game-winning goal in Chris Kreider, who has been an amazing pickup from the New York Rangers. You can't get any better veteranship than Chris Kreider. Kreider puts in, like, all he had to do was, like, he could have just blew the puck past the line and scored it. He picks up the goal, his 20th of the season, another 20-goal score for the Ducks. And they get the freaking win. 5-4, OT. We just beat Team USA's gold medal, Medal of Freedom honoree. How about them apples? In comeback fashion for the 9th OT win of the season, the 7th straight home win. Unbelievable. I want you to celebrate for just a little bit longer.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Anaheim Ducks win! And remember, Ducks fans, to check out the Ducks postgame show on the Halos in the Infield Network with Todd and Dom. Drive home safely, and we'll see you next game.
Ducks win. OT. Comeback fashion. Let's freaking go. Let's fly together. Ducks fly together, and they fly to a 5-4 win in OT against the Winnipeg Jets. The Ducks outshoot Winnipeg 40-33. Winnipeg wins the faceoff battle 52-48. The Ducks 1 for 2 on the power play, and the penalty kill does great work again, 1 for 4 for the Winnipeg Jets. There was a big fight in the first period. Ross Johnson getting right in the middle of it once again. The Ducks out-hit, out-block shot, and out-take away the Winnipeg Jets on the statistical sheet. The Ducks winning nearly every single category tonight, and they had to do it in come-from-behind fashion. You never want to do it that way all the time, but the Ducks right now have a complete knack of just, I don't want to say surprising the other team, but just having the mindset of the long game, forward-thinking perspective. And the Ducks continue to stay strong so much throughout this regular season. And now just second place above the Edmonton Oilers, who they beat on Wednesday in come-from-behind fashion. And they did it in regulation, which was great. So you didn't give any points to the Edmonton Oilers, even though they basically put belt to ass on the Kings the following night. The box score tonight is nearly immaculate. When I looked at the box score after the game against Edmonton, and the Ducks had 14 different players record at least a point. That's a great night. How many different players recorded a point tonight? Let's see. Killorn, Kreider, Paling, Washi, Seneca, Carlson, Hellison, Lacombe, Trouba, Minchikov. 10 different Anaheim Ducks get on the stat sheet tonight with at least a point, and 2 players picking up multi-point affairs. Pavel Minchikov with 2 and Beckett Seneca with 3. It has been an all-out effort from top to bottom for the Ducks, and I didn't even get to Dostal. Dostal did a very nice job in this game. 29 saves and 33 shots. Very nice performance. Has it been the DOS wall we've experienced in years past? No, maybe a tick off. Again, he played for Chechnya in the Olympics. He came right back and became the number 1 goalkeeper again for the Ducks. With a couple, one day in between. Does he get the start against against Calgary on Sunday? Maybe. The Ducks next week kind of go every other day next week. So, except for a back-to-back on Tuesday and Wednesday, Colorado Tuesday, Islanders on Wednesday. You're probably going to see Villahuso at some point, maybe even twice this week. But I would like to see personally Dostal on Sunday, Dostal on Tuesday. He'll get Wednesday off. That'll give him 2 days off. Trade deadline against Montreal, him, maybe Sunday against St. Louis, him, even though St. Louis is near the bottom of the division standings. I think it's really at this point, because right now in the month of March, the 3rd and the 4th this week, at home against Colorado and then home against the Islanders, is the only time the Ducks will have a back-to-back until April the 3rd and 4th. Those are the last 2 back-to-back sets for Anaheim this season. So it's really going to be up to how Dostal is feeling and what Joel Quenneville wants to do in balancing the goaltenders at this point. So take it for what it is at that point. But regardless, 10 different players getting on the stat sheet for the Anaheim Ducks tonight. Speaking of stat sheet, why not we do our favorite part of the show and get to the 3 stars of the game voted by me? Oh boy, this was a fun one tonight as the Ducks beat the Winnipeg Jets 5-4 in overtime. Thank you guys so much for making the only post-game podcast for the Anaheim Ducks this season on the airwaves one of the most popular ones here. We appreciate you guys from top to bottom. If you watch it live or you watch it on the replay on YouTube once we download it, you guys make every single thing possible that we do on this page. You know, my page, the Catella Chronicles partners with Halos in the Infield. We do so much content together. And we're getting to that point right now where Angels and Ducks are going on at the same time. But we have gone all in on Ducks hockey this year, as this is the first year. We've really done a little bit of everything. Do the post-game show, cover the podcast, work with a lot of great friend of ours like Ducks Game Day Breakdown, the Mighty Ducks Club, Royally Quacked, and Locked On Ducks. Those are some amazing people that cover those pages, and they come on to ours, and just that mutual relationship that makes Ducks hockey so much fun this season. So for all of you watching along, listening along, going to games, commenting on social media, every single element under the sun, we thank you. As it says on the top of the screen, we are for the fans, by the fans. Another shout out to Randy Yaz, who puts together all of our social media graphics, the backgrounds on the podcast, all the starting lineup and final score graphics you see on Instagram and X, all the funny videos, and every single thing is the producer to the stars, Randy Yaz. He dedicates his time to the craft of designing everything, and his attention to detail is absolutely awesome. So give a round of applause and a shout out to Randy Yaz in the comments section and on social media, because we love him and he makes our lives so much easier to talk about the Ducks or talk about the Angels and not have to really worry about too much, because he's in the background doing producer-like things. So it's awesome. So let's get to the 3 stars of the game. And it's going to be fantastic tonight because they're all going to be Ducks. And in the 3 slot, you know, there's a lot of ways, because I pretty much have 1-2 picked very easily tonight. But if I had to pick my number 3 star of the game, oh gosh, there's a lot of ones that I could tie it. You know, I got into my tangent about thanking Randy and watching the little, 3 stars of the game video. And I'm like, okay, I think I kind of know who I want. But, we settle down the nerves here. First show back, post-Olympic break for me. Let's settle it down, Dominic. Here we go. I'm going to go with, as my 3rd star of the game, Ryan Poehling. He gives the Ducks the lead late in the 3rd. It ends up forcing overtime once Winnipeg got the game-tying goal with under a minute and a half remaining. He's the do-it-all-for-you kind of guy. And he is that snake in the grass that no one expects to be X marks the spot and the guy that gets the job done. But like I said, if you go back and look at all the close wins for the Ducks and the late scoring affairs or even overtime, who gets on the stat sheet with a late goal or a late assist? Or even if he doesn't get an assist, who helps create the play that makes that final play happen? It's number 25, Ryan Poehling. 1 goal, 2 shots on goal, 19 minutes and 10 seconds on the ice tonight. He is getting more and more ice time as the season goes on. This coaching staff, led by Coach Q, has penciled him in and knows what he can bring on a game-to-game basis. Top 2, 2nd star of the game, Pavel Mintyukov. This kid keeps getting better and better. I think he's going to be one of the top Anaheim Ducks defensemen as we get closer. Lacombe, Trouba, and Mintyukov, easily the top 3 defensive players for the Anaheim Ducks this season. It has been a turn of events, 1 goal, 1 assist, a 2-point night, over 20 minutes on the ice. Oh, look, he's playing like the number 3 defenseman. Lacombe had the most ice time at 28 minutes. Trouba, 26 minutes, and then Pavel Minchikov, 20 minutes. When you're playing great, you're getting the minutes. And last but not least, the first star of the game. Is there a question? He is the freaking rookie of the year. Demetrio knows it. Beckett Seneca is that dude. Clearly, he's going to be my next t-shirt, like name on the back t-shirt. I have Carlson, I got my Solani, I got my Korea, I had Getzlaf, I had Perry. I had a lot throughout the years. I always loved my good old Andrew Cogliano one. God, I loved Andrew Cogliano. Side note on that one. Love Andrew Cogliano. Always just a facilitator of the game. But Beckett Seneca is that freaking dude. This dude has a potential to get 60 to 70 points this year. And 10-1, the East Coast bias media will vote him second place in the Rookie of the Year voting, which is going to be completely, utterly hogwash. This dude is freaking dynamo. Awesome. Beckett Seneca, the first star of the game, with a not 1, not 2, a hat trick of assists tonight. A 3-assist performance in 19 minutes on the ice. Gotta love Beckett Seneca. And I talked about it a moment ago about the young core that the Ducks have. I completely forgot a big name. Hello, game winner from the other night, Cutter Gauthier. Duh. Another guy that is just adding to the foundation of this Anaheim Ducks franchise. And the Ducks are in a really good place right now. I really do feel that we're back. And regardless of what happens this year, making the playoffs is a win within itself. For all the hardship we have had to endure over the last 6+ seasons, right? Since our last playoff run. And especially the year where we got swept out of the playoffs in the first round, and that was the last time we were in the playoffs. We have endured a lot, Ducks fans. We have flown together. We have worn our black and orange to a T. And right now we are reaping the benefits as fans. If you can, go to Honda Center. Go to 714 Tickets, who is a massive sponsor on our page. Type in the code HITI in the promo code section. Get some money off on your tickets. Get some put back into your rewards account. It is so easy. Any seat at Honda Center is a great seat. Go out. Support the team. 11 straight shutouts. 9 overtime wins. 7 straight home victories. This team is having fun. Why not enjoy it? We are in the midst of a massive, massive homestand right now. They've taken 2 to begin the homestand. Calgary at home, Sunday, 5 o'clock. Home, Tuesday, Colorado, 7 p.m. Wednesday, Islanders, 7 p.m. Next Friday, trade deadline day, 6 o'clock against Montreal. Excuse me. And then finish off the homestand next Sunday, March the 8th, daylight savings time. We spring forward 6 o'clock against the St. Louis Blues. I will be at that game on March the 8th to celebrate the Ducks and go on out. Haven't been to a game since they beat Vegas on February the 1st. So I thought it was, high time to go back to an Anaheim Ducks game. And I'm going to be there on March the 8th when the Ducks wrap up this massive homestand, 7-game homestand before they hit the road to face Winnipeg, Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal on that very next road trip in the middle of March. But the Ducks do a great job of finishing off the month of February. 2 games before the Olympic break, 2 games after the Olympic break. Win, 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 win. You gotta love going 4-0 in the month of February. However, we must get to one more piece of business. We have the 3 stars. Who's the hoser of the night for the Jets? All right. Who gets the hoser tonight for the Winnipeg Jets? You know me, whenever the Ducks win, it's got to go to the opposing team. The losing team always has to have the worst player on the ice. And looking up and down the Winnipeg Jets lineup tonight, when you play over 26 and a half minutes and all you can do is have one shot on goal and you have 70 points this season with 27 goals and 43 assists, and the Ducks shut you down, you get the hoser of the night. Mark Scheifele. Bye-bye. See ya. Have a great trip back on the West Coast swing for the Jets. He gets held to 0 points tonight, makes no effect for the Winnipeg Jets, and he's had a phenomenal season. 58 games played and 70 total points. 0 tonight, and the Ducks hold him to that 0 and take the 5-4 win. Brett, I agree with you. Playoffs are looking more and more like a reality for our boys. Absolutely. There's still about a month and a half left to this regular season. The Ducks cannot, will not take their foot off the gas pedal. They have to keep on pushing. This is what Joel Quenneville continues to preach in his coaching career. And the Ducks will not stop. Can't stop, won't stop mentality. It is orange country. Everybody knows in that building, feeding off the energy. The Ducks haven't had energy like this in a very long time. The players know it. The young ones, the veterans, everybody knows it. It is going to be survival of the finish. Finish. Yeah, I'm thinking Teemu Selanne. Survival of the finish. Exactly. Survival of the fittest. And these boys get on the horse, go to a game. Man, this is entertainment to the max. Ducks, a big win tonight over the Winnipeg Jets. 5-4, the final score in overtime. I'll read you off once again the goal scorers tonight for the Ducks. You had Jacob Trouba picking up his 10th, Leo Carlsson on the power play his 20th, Pavel Mintyukov netting his 7th, Ryan Poehling his 6th, and then in overtime, Chris Kreider his 20th of the season. Our 3 stars of the game tonight, in the 3 spot, Ryan Poehling. 2 spot went to Pavel Mintyukov, and at number 1, Beckett Seneca. It is absolutely a phenomenal time to be an Anaheim Ducks fan and get with it in the Pacific Division standings. Vegas, 59 games played, 70 total points. The Ducks, second place, 58 games played. They've played 1 less game than Vegas and 2 less games than Edmonton, who's in third place. Ducks with 67 points. Edmonton with 66. Then you have the Kraken at 63 in fourth place. The Kings at 60 points in fifth. San Jose in sixth place with 58. Calgary, they've made a little bit of an ascent lately. That game on Sunday is going to be fun to see. But the Flames, 54 points in seventh place. And then the Vancouver Canucks, 43 points in eighth place. When you look at the Western Conference as a whole, the Ducks, fifth in the Western Conference, trailing Vegas, Dallas, Minnesota, and Colorado, which has been pretty much the predominant teams in the Western Conference so far this season. And in the NHL as a whole, the Ducks pretty much slap dab right in the middle in 14th place with 67 points. A lot of East Coast teams ruling the top portion of the NHL standings so far this year. You have Tampa, Carolina, Buffalo, Detroit, Montreal, Pittsburgh, Boston, Islanders, and Capitals. 9 of the top 13 teams above the Anaheim Ducks are from the Eastern Conference. So where they're battling out tooth and nail, the Western Conference, which is still very, very competitive, has a little bit more parity. The worst team in the Eastern Conference is the New York Rangers at 51 points, and the worst team in the Western Conference is Vancouver at 43 points. But when you skip past the Rangers and the Devils, from Toronto Maple Leafs and up on the Eastern Conference, everybody is 63 points and above, right? So the Ducks, again, with 67 points on the season, they would be 10th in the Eastern Conference. Instead, they are 5th in the Western Conference. So that's where the West Coast bias feels a little good for the Ducks. But the Ducks, 32 wins, 23 losses, 3 in overtime. They're a -8 goal differential still, but I think that will get into the green and into the pluses sooner rather than later. 19-8-1 at home, 13-15-2 away from Honda Center, 6-0 in the shootout, 8-2 in their last 10, and they've won 7 straight home games. What more do you want? Of course, I want more wins, but what more do you want? This team is playing so well right now, and we want to keep it going. But that'll do it for tonight here on the Anaheim Ducks Halos in the Infield post-game show here on the HITI Network page. It's getting fun, man. This is a great time of year. You're getting into the belly and beast of the NHL season. The trade deadline is coming up. Do the Ducks buy? Do the Ducks keep what they have? How will Pat Verbeek balance things out in just a week's time? There is so much chemistry on this team. You don't want to wreck it. You want to find the right pieces to bring in to strengthen out this Ducks roster and completely and wholeheartly balance around it. We shall see how it all works out. But tonight, the Ducks beat the Winnipeg Jets in overtime by the final of 5-4. Big night all around. So glad to have you joining us along on the Halos in the Infield Anaheim Ducks postgame show for the fans, by the fans. Thank you to our sponsors, Noble, 714 Tickets, and the whole crew. Go to a game. Have a great time. Enjoy the rest of your Friday as the Ducks will fasten the seatbelt and get ready for their next game Sunday at Honda Center against the divisional rival Calgary Flames. But until then, Ducks get the win once again. Celebrate second place in the division, and we are not done yet. Cheers to the rest of your Friday. As I always say, be happy, be healthy. I'm Dom Lorenz at Catella Chronicles, and we will see you next time on the Anaheim Ducks post-game show on the Halos in the Infield Network. Cheers. Ducks fly together, and we do it together as fans of the black and orange. Love you guys. Cheers.